Why do they need to cheat like this if they're honorable people who care about democracy and the right to vote? Nobody who is a non-citizen would vote. Well, they're going to be allowed to vote right here, 1,500 people.
Lots of people, the Democratic side of the equation, say, how can it be possible that it's tied? Why is Harris not running away with this? Well, it's the environment that she's running in.
The DOJ scores a victory. They're going to allow illegals or non-citizens. We don't really know exactly what category of people these are, but they'll be on the voter rolls, even though they were booted off because they admitted themselves they're non-citizens. Well, the DOJ wants them on. Trump is commenting on this, as is Governor Glenn Youngkin of Virginia. We'll read what the order looks like from the court that is bringing these people back onto the voter rolls right as the election emerges around the corner. Trump said, "Sleepy Joe Biden and comrade Kamala Harris ridiculously accuse me of wanting to weaponize the Justice Department when they have done all of the weaponizing. Now, their truly weaponized Department of Injustice and a judge, who's appointed by Joe, by the way, have ordered the great Commonwealth of Virginia to put non-citizen voters back on the voter rolls." Now, this is a totally unacceptable travesty. And Governor Youngkin is absolutely right to appeal this illegal order, and the U.S. Supreme Court will hopefully fix it. Only U.S. citizens should be allowed to vote. Keep fighting, Glenn, and Republicans in Virginia, keep voting early. He's calling into Glenn's rally, and they're going to talk about this ruling and announce their final stop in Virginia. And so Trump is hitting in Virginia very soon. Now, the president is commenting on it, but so is Glenn Youngkin, the governor. He says, look, let's be clear about this, okay? About what just happened. Only 11 days before a presidential election, a federal judge ordered Virginia to reinstate over 1,500 individuals who self-identified themselves as non-citizens back onto the voter rolls. Incredible. They said, we're not citizens. He said, well, we want you to vote anyways. What do you think about Kamala Harris? Might be nice to have her as your president. She's like, well, I don't know. We're not even citizens. I don't know. We don't care. Well, you should care, and Kamala will save you. So here's what he said on the official Virginia.gov website. Glenn said, all right, listen, let's be clear about what just happened. Only 11 days before a presidential election, a federal judge ordered Virginia to reinstate over 1,500 individuals who self-identified themselves as non-citizens back onto the voter rolls. Almost all these individuals had previously presented immigration documents confirming their non-citizenship status, a fact that was recently verified by federal authorities as well. This is a Virginia law that was passed in 2006, signed by Governor Tim Kaine. Remember him from that failed campaign with Hillary? That mandates certain procedures to remove non-citizens from the rolls, with safeguards in place to affirm citizenship before removal and the ultimate failsafe of the same-day registration for citizens to cast a provisional ballot. This law has been applied in every presidential election by Republicans and Democrats since enacted 18 years ago, saying Virginia is going to immediately petition the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals and, if necessary, the Supreme Court for an emergency stay of the injunction. Jason Miyares is the Attorney General there, saying, here's my statement on this. It should never be illegal to remove an illegal voter. Yet today, a court urged by the Biden-Harris DOJ ordered Virginia to put the names of non-citizens back on the voter rolls mere days just before the presidential election. The DOJ pulled this shameful, politically motivated stunt 25 days before Election Day, challenging a Virginia process signed into law 18 years ago by a Democrat and approved by the DOJ in 2006. Now, more concerning is the open practice by Harris to weaponize the legal system against the enemies of progress. This is the definition of lawfare. To openly choose weaponization of good process and lawfare over integrity isn't democracy, it's bullying, pure and simple. And I always stand up to bullies. Now, in the meantime, I encourage every Virginian who just had your vote diluted, literally, like your vote is worth less than one now. Every non-citizen voter who's on the voter rolls dilutes your vote to less than one vote per share, per person, because it's diluted, because they shouldn't be voting. To openly choose weaponization over good process is bullying. Now, in the meantime, I encourage every Virginian to exercise their right to vote. Rest assured, I will never stop fighting to preserve the integrity of our election process. The Commonwealth of Virginia will appeal this decision all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary. And so here is what the opinion looked like. You can see this was a lawsuit, looks like two consolidated cases. Virginia Coalition for Immigrant Rights versus Susan Beals, saying we would like our non-citizens to vote, please, thank you. And the DOJ, the Department of Justice versus Virginia. Why do they need to cheat like this if they're honorable people who care about democracy and the right to vote? This matter, here is a district court judge named Patricia Toliver Giles, and writes the following. It says in her order, this matters before the court. The court is here hearing about preliminary injunctions. Now, to receive a preliminary injunction to stop Virginia from removing these people, the government needs to show the following things: that they're likely to succeed on the merits, they're likely to suffer irreparable harm, the balance of equities tip in their favor, and an injunction would be in the public interest. Now, for the reasons stated in open court, the court finds plaintiffs have established the 4 elements and they win. Pathetic, judge. At least put it down. At least write it out. She just talked about it on the record and that's it, right? So here it is. The plaintiff's motion for a preliminary injunction, granted in part, denied in part. Here's what is ordered. The Commonwealth of Virginia are now enjoined from continuing any systematic program intended to remove the names of ineligible voters from registration lists from now until the election. Although this does not preclude removal of names from the official list of voters at the request of the registrant, they call and they want their name removed, and they'll take it off. If there's criminal conviction or mental incapacity as provided by Virginia law, individual correction, or death. So if they want their names removed, they can remove them. Otherwise, you got to keep them on. It's also ordered that the state restore voter registration of anyone who is canceled after August 7th, unless the registrant subsequently submits a voter request removal by crime, or the same reasons as above. So don't take anyone else off. Stop taking people off. Put everybody back on. Thank you, DOJ. Also ordered that they issue guidance to immediately restore anyone else who is removed as well. Also ordered within 5 days, you need to notify the registrant, hey, if you're a non-citizen, you are now going to get notified that your voter registration has been restored to the voter rolls. What kind of country is this? It's crazy. You get a notice that you're registered to vote unlawfully. Oh, or maybe, are you an unlawful voter? You have to be a citizen to vote. Oh, no, I'm not a citizen. Oh, thanks for being honest. Okay, great. So you can't actually vote. Oh, okay, great. So I understand. Then the court reverses it and you get a notice that says your right to vote has been restored. You say, I'm not a citizen though. Doesn't matter. Welcome to America. Welcome to Kamala Harris's DOJ. Incredible. You have the right to vote. So now get out there. It's restored, whatever that means. Explaining you may cast a regular ballot on election day in the same manner as other eligible voters. It gets worse. Hey, not only is your registration restored, you get to vote. And also, just to be clear, when we canceled your registration before, it doesn't mean that you're ineligible and there's not going to be any criminal prosecution or any other penalty to vote, okay? So we're going to also roll out the red carpet for you too. We'll have a nice little cushion for your wrist as you're voting for Kamala Harris in there. You're not going to be prosecuted for being an illegal person voting. So you know those forms? You know when they say on those forms, nobody who is a non-citizen would vote. Well, they're going to be allowed to vote right here, 1,500 people. And you always hear them say, well, they have to declare under penalty of perjury and all these, there's threats of crimes. They're going to be prosecuted if they're non-citizens who vote in our elections. That's a federal felony. All the time, right? Nonstop, barking all the place. So now they're advised, it is not a crime. You literally, if you're a non-citizen, your registration is valid. You may cast a ballot as a non-citizen. Your cancellation is not at all effective. There will be no penalties for you. And advising registrants who are not U.S. citizens that they remain ineligible to cast a ballot in Virginia elections. Okay, so you can't vote in our state, but you still can vote in the federal elections. You may cast a regular ballot in the same manner as any other eligible voter. What the hell is this? So you may cast a regular ballot as any other voter, but you're ineligible. A remedial mailing to each registrant ordered that within 5 days of this order, defendants and their agents shall post copies of this remedial mailing and a copy of this order on the website. Do the same thing at the Department of Elections. It's also ordered within 5 days. They make all practicable efforts to educate everybody about the restoration of these impacted voters and the ability of impacted voters to cast a regular ballot without submitting any additional paperwork. Such efforts shall include tracking of poll worker training in all 95 counties. Incredible. So you actually also have to go out and educate everybody about this concerning the cessation of purported non-citizenship removal program and other remedial actions. This is one of the most insane orders we've read here. Now, ordered that within 5 days of this order, Virginia shall also submit to this court under seal a report detailing every voter registration that was canceled. The report shall include the voter's full name, middle name, everything, social security number, if any, yeah, right, driver's license number, if available, and the reason for the cancellation. They said they confirmed they were non-citizens. Also, their authority or ability to cancel registration through individualized review is not limited, nor does this order limit limit their ability to investigate non-citizens who register to vote or who vote. So they can investigate non-citizens who register to vote or vote in Virginia's elections, except these 1,500 people, I guess. This injunction only applies to the systematic program which occurred after October 7th. Ordered that the other aspects of the injunction are denied, and this is from Judge Patricia Tolliver Giles, who, as far as we can tell, just allowed 1,500 people, give or take, that's according to Glenn Youngkin, to then vote. They're going to be on the voter rolls. They've already, according to them, presented immigration documents saying they are non-citizens, and the feds verified it, but they're going to be able to cast a ballot. I think what she was trying to do is distinguish between local elections and federal elections, but she didn't do that in the order. Probably talked about that in open court, but she didn't write it in there. So you can see why they're doing this. It's because they are just about as panicked as can be. And I think a lot of these are, things around the margins that will matter when you compile them all up. Yeah, it's 1,500 voters here, but compounding that with all of the other changes, you just got to get to like 11,000 in some states. Remember, Georgia was only like 11,000. Arizona was like 11,000, of the mindset that the victory is going to be much bigger than it was in 2020. The margins will be way bigger than 16 in 2020. I think we can feel it in the air, which is why they are issuing these orders that are so shameless and un-American and really unconstitutional. But she did what she needed to do, and this is why, because Kamala is having a tough time out there.
Lots of people, the Democratic side of the equation, say, how could it be possible that it's tied? Why is Harris not running away with this? Well, it's the environment that she's running in. We asked folks your financial situation over the past year. So today compared to a year now, a plurality, nearly half, 49%, say they are worse off today financially than they were a year ago. 35% say they're about the same. Only 16% say they're better off. I'll also just say we have Joe Biden at a low approval rating at 36% in this poll. We have the wrong track number. 7 out of 10 Americans say we're in the wrong direction. Things aren't going well. It's a rough environment if you're running in the incumbent party.
Yeah, rough environment. So they better bring in about a couple million fresh voters and then have the DOJ do whatever they can to get them on the rolls. That's what they're doing. It's not going to work this time because we're all getting out doing our part and voting like our lives depended on it. And we'll see you out there.